Breaking news from NFL Media's Jake Glasner. Aaron Rodgers will be available this offseason. Aaron Rodgers will not be back with the New York Jets. They've chosen to move on. Now, Aaron Rodgers threw for 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions last season. He's getting a little long in the tooth. You know, he's kind of worn out his welcome the last two stops because of his attitude and his lack of respect for the organization. But with Tom Brady being here, him having such a close relationship with Aaron Rodgers, two Cali guys, you know, I don't think you'll have those same kind of problems out of Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers kind of needs to be the smartest guy in the room, but with Brady being in the room, he's not. And wouldn't Aaron Rodgers look good in silver and black? Pete Carroll, another Cali guy, another great, viable coach that could probably keep Aaron Rodgers under wraps. What do you think?
So the Aaron Rodgers era in New York is over, right? The Jets met with Aaron Rodgers, and, you know, from a report from Jake Glasner, it reported that the Jets met last week in New Jersey and was told that the team is moving on. And this is no surprise. You know, Aaron Glenn coming into the building, he wants to start his own culture. You know, he doesn't want to walk on a tippy-toe around Aaron Rodgers and his attitude and his nonsense. He's trying to set a culture in that building. He's trying to establish a culture in that building. And I noticed that with Aaron Glenn when he was addressing the media, when they tried to, you know, bring back some of the stuff that Bill Parcells said. And he said, listen, I am not Bill Parcells. I am Aaron Glenn. And I think that Aaron Glenn, being the alpha that he is, the coach he is, did not want to deal with Aaron Rodgers and his nonsense, right? So now that Aaron Rodgers is available, of course, all things lead back to the Raiders in our universe, right? So a lot of people have the Raiders, you know, kind of primed to get Aaron Rodgers. And I thought about it. You know, a lot of people were like, man, you know, a lot of people say he's old, he's washed up. But then I start thinking, they said the same thing about Pete Carroll. They said the same thing about Tom Brady when Tom Brady decided to go down to play with Tampa Bay. People said the same thing about Bruce Arians when he came out of retirement. People are saying that about Pete now. The one thing that you don't get worse at in the National Football League from a mental standpoint is coaching and playing quarterback. Now, from a physical standpoint, it remains to be seen whether Aaron Rodgers is, you know, still viable and good enough to kind of move and play the way he used to on some level, right? He'll never be the 27-year-old Aaron Rodgers, right? But a lot of that mobility and his legs, which was his game was kind of built off of his athleticism. Aaron Rodgers was a plus athlete. He was a freak. He did things no one else can do. And, you know, he made things that were spectacular look really routine and mundane. He's the first guy to do that. I noticed that since Aaron Rodgers played his style of football, he really changed the game of football the way he plays. Because you see his game in some of the stuff that Caleb Williams does, some of the stuff that Patrick Mahomes does, right? But I digress. I started thinking, I said, hey, man, the Raiders are in desperate need of a lot of things. And the one thing they're in need of is a quarterback. Now, the reason why I think Aaron Rodgers in Las Vegas works and can work if need be, even though I prefer the Raiders to go out and draft their own quarterback. I'm just kind of sick of us going out and getting other people's trash off the scrap heap. But the reason why is because the Raiders are on a different timeline as every other team. You have a 73-year-old coach. He doesn't have forever. He's on a 3-year deal. Tom Brady is not going to wait forever. Mark Davis can't wait anymore. The season of having season ticket holders come and take over our stadium with visiting fans is over. That's over, man. We can't have that anymore. The Raiders don't have any more time to try to capture the minds and the hearts of the people of Las Vegas. The people of Las Vegas have seen championship play from the sports teams out there already. And the Raiders are on the clock. The Raiders are on the clock. And I'm going to tell you why I think Aaron Rodgers works. Let me get into a few reasons, right? As you saw earlier in this slide, the relationship with Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady have a great relationship. Aaron Rodgers is a guy who is a kind of a prickly kind of a guy. He's not always, you don't know what kind of guy you're going to get from a day in, day out basis. You know, he's a very, very mercurial talent, right? But the one thing about Aaron Rodgers is that he has to be the smartest guy in the room. He's always been that. I've heard that since he was a rookie, right? The difference is when you're in a building with a guy like a Tom Brady, a guy who you are not his equal as a quarterback, right? You might have a more physical talent than Tom Brady, but you definitely don't have a resume of Tom Brady, as nobody does, right? There's a different level of respect that Aaron will give a Tom Brady. There's a different level of respect that Aaron Rodgers will give a Pete Carroll. You know what I mean? So I think these are two people that can really kind of control the negative aspects of what Aaron brings to the table. Now, from a positive standpoint, you have coherent, top shelf quarterback play right from day one. So even if the Raiders see in their infinite wisdom to draft a young quarterback early, now you have the perfect bridge situation. You have a situation where you have a team that's committing to winning right now. You have a team that does have some prerequisite talent, needs to fill some holes that he can come in here and thrive and flourish with. And also he can serve as an elder statesman to try to bring along the next kid. To me, I think the Raiders really, really need to look at the quarterback situation in this building from a bird's eye view and not a worm's eye view. Everything should be on the table to improve in that quarterback room. Because if you're telling me that we're rolling with Gardner and Booger Minshew and AOC next year as our starters, man, that means that this season is going to be a failure before it even starts. Let me tell you guys something. What do you think? Talk to me below in the chat. What do you guys think about the Raiders bringing Aaron Rodgers into the building and being the perfect bridge scenario based off of the fact that you will get an under control, respectful Aaron Rodgers in the building with the Tom Brady and the Pete Carroll? You're not going to have the same issues that you would have somewhere else with Aaron Rodgers here in this building with a Chip Kelly, right? How would that look to you guys for the Raiders to bring in Aaron Rodgers for a year or two on the cheap to try to mentor the next young guy? Listen, guys, if you like what you hear, or if you don't like what you hear, I hope you hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave comments below. It helps the algorithm. Hit those thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. And guys, also leave your comments, man. I do respond. I want to hear what you guys think about this. I'm simply asking the question. Do you guys think that going and bringing in Aaron Rodgers kind of frees the Raiders up to go out there and do some other things early in the draft?